Hello everybody, to episode 20 of the Digimon VER Revival series here. And of course we got our beautiful, beautiful Mons here. They are currently sleeping, but one of them just evolved. So we actually get to talk about both of them. So, I don't know if I showed them off in the last episode. I think I showed off both of them. I don't know. But we do got Machine Dramon over here, and then I think this is Dramon or something? I forget. It's something like that. Or, like, I don't know, it's a weird little, like, robot hedgehog thing. I always forget what it is. It might be not that either. I forget. Oh, this is not a good sprite of it either. It's one of those Digimon that I'm like, it's kind of hard to tell what it is. So I'm like, I don't remember. Overall, pretty simple design. Shoots out rockets, and a little bit of a weird little sparkle effect there. So, yeah, nothing too crazy about either one of them right now. So we are going to do a bit of a Jogress today, because, you know, why not? You gotta have a bit of a Jogress. But I figure let's show off the little attack animations here. So there you go, we got little basic attacks. Nothing too crazy going on with either one of them, really. Main point of this whole entire episode is mainly just going to be, like, evolution. So yeah, we'll get to go into that hole right there. So, for those who don't know, to Jogress on the 20th and VER Revival, only specific Digimon could do Jogressing, by the way. Not all of them, only very specific ones. Which I think is a smart move on this device, by the way, since the original Brick never did Jogressing in the first place. I like the idea that it is more used in a limited format. It's like that weird idea, like, hey, there's potential to this, but, like, you don't get, like, the full craziness of Jogressing. Which I prefer. I also prefer Jogressing to be very limited a lot of the times. That's something I did not like when I ran the Pendulum Colors, is that Jogressing wasn't limited because of the whole DP format change. Now, to be honest, in this device, it works because Jogressing is in a limited way. Now, in the Pendulum, though, in the Pendulum color, there is no limit to the Jogressing, and I think that's kind of a poor choice. Like, I do think that was kind of poorly done. I don't remember if the Z's had Jogressing like that as well, which is kind of hard to say, because it's been so long since I've ran the Z's, so maybe the Z's have the same issue. I don't know, at some point I need to run the Z's, get into them, and try all that fun again. But, yeah, so main thing today is just kind of getting ready for Jogressing, and, just chill out with them. I don't know, it's one of those episodes where, like, not much is kind of going on. So let's actually get to some battles here real quickly. So we're going to do this real quickly. So let's just enjoy some Digi battles. Because why not, you know? Might as well enjoy all this cool fun here. Go for that cool little mega shot there. Bam, there you go. Nice little mega power there. Oh, he dodged. That's the reason why I don't do that one too often. Because weirdly, every time I try for the the mid-shot ones, I think that second bar has something to do with accurate... Oh, dang it. That's not what I wanted to do. Because I think that second bar has something to do with accuracy, which I think has, like... Or, I don't know, I assume that bar has something with accuracy in it. Because something about that just kind of seems like it has a point of accuracy. Look, it's Coronamon and a Lunamon. Digimon we won't be seeing in this run at all. Well, besides in this battle format. In the 20th devices, to get them, you actually have to connect to 5 Digivices. So basically, they're what's the replacement for the anime Agumon and Gabumon eggs. And for those who know this device very well, this device just only has anime Gabumon on it, so you don't get any of the crazy stuff there. Also, anime Gabumons unlock differently in this device. So to get anime Gabumon in this device, you actually have to, like, do a sort of, like, proper connection there, which is interesting. So basically, to get anime Gabumon in this device, you actually do have to connect to a version A device. So in the original devices, it was never that specific, and I kind of prefer that. I'll be honest, having 5 devices makes a lot more sense than trying to connect to specific versions, because, like, it is a bit of a pain. I get why they did it like that, because there's only, like, 2 version revivals at the time. So you just connect to the other version revival. Or, hey, if you did know someone with a 20th, you could do that. But, like, it's a bit annoying now having to deal with it. just because out of all the versions, I somehow lack a version A of the 20th and Revival. That's why for years I was trying to find a Revival that was the version A model, and I have not had luck with that. And to be honest, I was just like, whatever. I'll pick up this version. Ooh, Jogress. I love how they slowly get more and more into the middle. Like, that's such a cool concept right there. And there we go, we got Rust Tyrannomon! And he's gonna go right to sleep because he evolved and that's what they're gonna do. Look at that, he's a sleepy boy. We're gonna wake up our sleepy boy here because look at him! He's a beautiful Digimon! And of course over here, we just now have an egg that we'll use at some point. So, at some point we'll get to use that egg. Overall, though, this guy is pretty simple, so we get to do this cool little thing here. I do love that he has this little attack animation where he like, shows off his cannons. The little like Machinedramon part for him is so cool to have that still there. I do like that like Tyrannomon's still like the very much main focus of this evolution line, even though like Machinedramon wasn't a Tyrannomon evolution. It's so cool that like it ends in sort of like a Rust Tyrannomon. Because throughout the whole entire evolution cycle, we've pretty much seen it go from, like, the Dark Tyrannomon, then to, like, Metal Dark Tyrannomon, or whatever the heck its name is. So it's very cool to see that, like, sort of continued on there. It is kind of sad that the other Digimon doesn't have as great of an effect on the evolution standards, besides, like, more of the design language of it. Like, you see the cannons and stuff like that. I do think it gives some effect a little bit with, like, how the horns are placed around. Because it kind of keeps some of those dinosaur effects in there. I don't know. It's kind of weirdly done. But there we go. That sort of like gives us a nice little like end piece there for this right now. Because there's not much going on anymore. I have to figure out how I'm going to do the next runs after this. Because a part of me is back and forth if I'm going to bother with the anime egg. I am going to do the draw eggs together, even though that's not, like, my favorite way of running those eggs. And I'm back and forth on how I'm going to do the special eggs still. I don't know, that's, like, one of those things where it's, like, I'm kind of mixed on how much longer I'm wanting to push this series for. Because a part of me is, like, I don't really want to bother with the special edition eggs. They are cool, don't get me wrong. And it's tempting for, like, Zubamon to do a Zubamon run. But, like, a part of me is also, like, this device is pretty fun to run. And next time I'm running a 20th, it's not going to bother me to, like, sit down and just bring out the 20th, bring out this device and chill with it. So, that's one of those, like, And to be honest, who knows next time I'm going to bust out the Pendulum 20th. Especially since next time I do want to bust out a Pendulum 20th for, like, a series purpose would be for, like, the Wave 2 line of those guys, and I've never fixed this. I recorded a video yesterday, and I never bothered fixing my background thing. That's gonna bother me the whole entire time if I don't fix that now. Okay, but, yeah, so, like, overall, there's, like, certain random, like, little, like, oh yeah moments there. Weird little things to, like, I don't know. Because I do read run devices on this channel pretty often. This is probably not a good example considering this is a version revival, but I have done runs on the 20th before. Both of them I'm not a big fan of. Ooh. I don't know why, I always had like struggles trying to run the Pendulum 20th when I did like series on it. Or not Pendulum 20th, the DM 20th, the Digital Monster 20th. The Pendulum 20th series, I actually kind of like both of those series when I did both of them. I always have pure excitement for the Pendulum 20th. It's like one of my favorite devices, so it's like one of those ones I can never put down. But this one here, I'm really loving this device. This is actually one of my favorites. I do love the changes that have been made in this device. Like, this makes, like, there's certain elements I do like about the original Digital Monster 20th over this device. Like, I prefer the nap function over a pause function. I know many people are going to be like, oh, but I prefer pausing or whatever. I don't. It's just, pausing is not my style. It's never been my style. I prefer just a basic sleep function. And I love how the nap time function works. Because one of my big complaints in virtual pets is it's supposed to be a living creature in a sort of sense. So having a pause function kind of seems really pointless in that way. So I love that about the original DM20th, where it's just a 3-hour nap, and that's it. It's always a timed space. And if you need more time, you can just put it back into a nap state again. Like, it's one of those really cool concepts. I just really preferred that for a pausing function. Now, I think there's better ways to do that. I do think, like, 3 hours is a bit short sometimes. Like, if you do need a pause, which I don't, but let's say you work like crazy stuff or whatever, I do think you need, like, a good amount of pause time. That's why one of my favorite versions of pausing in a device goes to, like, the Tamagotchi Connection V1, where its pause is, like, I think only 24 hours. So, like, you can have, like, a day break from it if you need a day's break. And that's a way better system than, like, 3 hours or whatever. Even a 10-hour thing. And I do like how in the original DM20, like, if you took a nap before it went to bed, it would just continue onwards after that. So, like, they could have, like, extended sleep times or whatever. But, I do just kind of prefer that. I do also like the idea of the original device having a sleep timer, or, like, sleep evolutions being locked or whatever. Basically, Digimon only evolve when they're awake. I would prefer that. I like when the evolution timers are locked. I've always preferred that in many of my devices. And this device doesn't do that, but this device at least fixes that and actually has, like, evolution times to be adjusted for that. So I can give Bandai credit for that. They actually did fix it to where it would be very nice. Because huge complaint about color devices, they're over too quickly. Like, those devices have, like, such short evolution cycles that it's, like, very much a pain in the butt to run those devices, in my opinion. So I'm not a big fan of how those devices always work out. So I would rather much more prefer the sort of, like, crazy whatever evolutions. Like, to have, like, just be when I can see them. Because I like that. I don't know. I prefer... It also adds a bit more of a sporadic timing to it all. Because, like, at some point, evolution does become a bit formulaic in these devices. And at some point, you start predicting it. I prefer when the evolution timer is locked because you can't really predict that in a sort of sense. Well, you can if you're doing the math, but, like, if you're not doing the math, then, yeah, you don't have to, like, worry about it. For these devices, you kind of can predict it. So, I don't know. I know some people hate the idea, like, evolution timers being locked while they sleep, but I prefer it. Because, I don't know, I feel like I want to spend more time in the specific evolutions of Digimon. I like when these devices, like, take a lot of time. It's, like, one of my favorite parts of, like, the original bricks, and, like, some of my other favorite devices just have those kind of, like, locks down. It's just because that's such a cool concept to me. And I like the idea that it extends out the evolution a little bit. But this device isn't that bad with it, thankfully. In this device, they just pretty much got around it by extending out the hours. So, good on Bandai for doing that. I wish they would kind of do that in the modern devices. I do think, at this point, if I'm being straight up honest with y'all, I still would just prefer Bandai to put difficulty options in these devices. I know that, like, that probably sounds a bit weird, but, like, I just prefer having harder VPETs. I don't know. There's certain functions where I would like them to be extended on evolution times. I don't know. I feel like there should be options, like maybe like difficulty switches or sliders or something. Because I don't know, that's such a cool idea. And I get, like, Bandai gets around with that by, like, in the Tamagotchi, let's say, in the Tamagotchi line, they get around that by making, like, 3 different generations of Tamagotchi devices pretty much nowadays. So you always do have your original harder devices, you have your connection line, which is sort of like an in-between, and then you have the color devices, which are the easier devices, really. But, I kind of like that for Tamagotchi. Like, you are able to pick out a device. Like, you're able to sit down and just pick a device and go with it. And, yeah, like, just a modern-day setting that's so nice. Like, you don't have to worry about, let's say, a device being stupidly expensive. Like, that's so nice of a function. And I wish they'd kind of do that for Digimon. I do think that needs to be a part of Digimon. Because the color devices and the monochrome devices are so vastly different already. And sometimes it doesn't help Digimon's case when the monochrome devices have more to do, but just don't have, like, the tech to back them up or whatever. Meanwhile, the color devices have the tech to back them up, but they have nothing to do. It's just a weird sort of concept there. Okay, I'm going to end my talking session here, because probably people might be annoyed with that, so, whatever. But I would like to hear y'all's opinion on it. I don't know, maybe it's something I think about often. I just kind of prefer difficulty options in devices. I'd like that just to be, like, an option in devices sometimes, but who knows. Maybe one day Bandai will do it. Maybe one day. I don't know, like, that's, what was it? It's like Pokemon Black and White. If you beat Pokemon Black and White, it unlocks a difficulty mode for you. And I love that part of that game. Like, it's so cool that you can have that difficulty option. And I think that should be, like, just a part of any experience in some sense. Like, give us some difficulty options. Like, I love Batman Arkham City or whatever. I don't like playing that game on hard. And I usually play, like, at normal or easy difficulty. Because for me, that game is all just about, like, the cool, like, puzzle solving and stuff like that. And, like, the combat, or not the combat, really. I'm not a fan of the combat in the Arkham games. But, I like the, like, exploring sense and stuff like that. So, like, I would prefer, like, to have options of difficulty. I don't know. Keep puzzles hard, combat easy. I don't know. Maybe I'm just picky on how I want things. But, I don't know. I'd like to see that in VPETs in some sense. Like, you already see that with, like, how people do mods for games. And it's like, I just kind of prefer that. Or, like, you know, like how you play Super Smash Bros. And, like, in Super Smash Bros., like, you can have, like, you can select which items are on or off. You can set if there's time limits. Like, there's so many options. Like, can we have that in Virtual Pets? Like, that'd be so sick, wouldn't it? To have, like, all those options, those choices. Like, that'd be really cool to have that. It doesn't even have to be, like, built into the device. Like, I can easily see, like, doing, like, dip switches or something like that in these devices. Maybe not dip switches, I don't know. Like, there could be so really cool ways to get around like that. I don't know. I would just like to see that someday. If any VPET manufacturers watching this, take that into advice. Heck, even anyone who's doing, like, custom VPETs, take that into, like, a sort of advice stance or whatever. I don't know. That's it for now. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all later. Sorry if this video ended up being too much rambling. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I'll see everyone later.